Have you ever finished a walk and still felt like your legs were tired in a way that didn't make sense? Not the good kind of tired. I mean that heavy, dragging feeling. That dull ache in the calves. That sense that your body is working harder than it should just to keep you upright. If you know that feeling, I want you to hear me carefully. It does not automatically mean you're lazy. It does not automatically mean you're weak. And it definitely does not mean your best years of movement are behind you. A lot of adults over 60 have been told the same thing for years. Just walk more. And look, I like walking. I still recommend walking. Walking is good for the heart, good for the mind, good for circulation, and good for keeping the body in motion. But there's a problem when walking becomes your only answer. Because after 60, the body often needs a more specific signal than walking alone gives it. I learned that lesson the hard way. After 20 years as a Navy SEAL, I thought more movement was always the answer. Push harder, train longer, stay disciplined, keep grinding. But once I got older, my body stopped rewarding that mindset the way it used to. My recovery changed. My blood pressure climbed. I started seeing signs that intensity alone was no longer the smartest tool in the box. That forced me to rethink what real strength looks like later in life. And one of the most important things I discovered is this. Sometimes the missing piece is not a bigger workout. Sometimes it's a smaller, more targeted movement that wakes up a part of the body you've been underusing for years. That's what I want to talk to you about today. There's a deep muscle in your lower leg that almost nobody thinks about until problems show up. Most people focus on the big calf muscle they can see, but the deeper muscle, the one that does a lot of the quiet work of keeping you steady and helping blood move back up from your legs, is often the one that gets overlooked. And when that area gets lazy, a lot of things can start feeling harder than they should. Your legs feel heavy. Your ankles feel less stable. Standing feels a little less secure. Balance starts slipping in small ways. Swelling becomes more noticeable. Your energy drops faster than it used to. That's why today I want to show you 3 simple exercises that can help wake that system up. These are not gym exercises. These are not flashy exercises. They're not designed to impress anybody. They're designed to help you feel stronger, steadier, and more alive from the ground up. And I want you to stay with me all the way through, because each movement builds on the one before it. The first one wakes things up. The second one teaches the body to use that strength while standing. The third one goes even deeper and helps train the kind of stability that protects you in everyday life. Let's start with the first one. Seated heel raises. Now, I know this sounds almost too simple. Sitting in a chair and lifting your heels, really? Yes, really. Because simple does not mean useless. In fact, some of the most effective movements for older adults are the ones that look almost boring from the outside. That's part of why people skip them. They want something dramatic. But after 60, dramatic is not always what the body needs. The body needs repeatable. The body needs safe. The body needs targeted. So, here's how you do it. Sit tall in a sturdy chair, both feet flat on the floor, knees bent comfortably. Then keep the balls of your feet on the ground and slowly lift both heels up as high as you comfortably can. Pause for a second at the top, then lower them back down with control. That's it. What I do not want is fast bouncing. I do not want sloppy motion. I want control. Lift, pause, lower. Lift, pause, lower. This movement matters because it starts activating the deep lower leg muscles that help push blood back upward and support posture from below. And for many adults over 60, those muscles have not been asked to work very intentionally in a long time. Walking uses them, yes, but often not enough to really wake them up if they've gone quiet. That's the difference. Walking gives them a little nudge. This gives them a direct signal. And when you send that signal consistently, good things tend to happen. The legs often feel less sluggish. The ankles feel a little more alive. Some people notice less heaviness by the afternoon. Some notice they feel more connected to the floor when they stand. That connection matters, because one of the earliest signs of physical decline is not always major weakness. Sometimes it's simply that the body stops feeling responsive. The feet feel disconnected. The lower legs feel asleep. You stand up and it takes a second for everything to organize itself. This exercise helps start reversing that. Do 10 to 15 repetitions. Once or twice a day is a great place to begin. And let me say this. If a movement this small feels harder than you expected, don't be discouraged. That is not bad news. That is useful information. It means you found an area your body wants attention in. Now let's move to the second exercise, standing calf raises. This is where we take the same lower leg system and ask it to do its job in a more real-world position. Standing. Because it's one thing to activate muscles while seated. It's another thing to teach them to support your body weight when gravity is fully in the conversation. Stand facing a sturdy counter, a heavy chair, or a solid surface you can lightly hold for support. Feet about hip-width apart. Toes pointing mostly forward. Then slowly rise onto the balls of your feet. Lift your heels as high as you can with control. Pause at the top. Then lower back down slowly. Again, I want slow and deliberate. Think about placing your heels back down as if the floor were fragile. That level of control is where the real value comes from. Now, why is this so important? Because standing is where confidence starts to matter. A lot of adults don't notice their balance changing until they're already feeling uncertain. They stand up and there's that little sway. They take the first few steps and something feels off. They instinctively reach for furniture. They hesitate on uneven ground. They start telling themselves, well, maybe this is just what aging feels like. But often what they're really experiencing is a body that has stopped getting the right training signals. This standing calf raise helps restore some of that signal. It strengthens the lower legs. It challenges the ankles. It improves your ability to manage your own body weight. It encourages circulation. And it teaches the nervous system to sense where you are in space a little better. That last part is huge. Your body has to know where it is before it can correct itself well. If your system is sluggish, your corrections get slower. If your corrections get slower, balance gets less reliable. That's when little stumbles become a bigger concern. So this exercise is not just about muscle. It's about awareness. It's about control. It's about rebuilding trust between your brain, your ankles, your legs, and the ground. Do 10 to 15 repetitions here too. You can even do it twice a day if your body tolerates it well. Morning can be great to wake the legs up. Evening can be great if your lower legs tend to feel tired or puffy later in the day. And here's something I want you to remember. Strength is not always loud. Sometimes strength is the quiet ability to rise, pause, lower, and stay steady the whole time. That's real strength. Now let's get to the third exercise, because this is the one most people never think to do, and it may be the missing link for a lot of adults who feel unstable. A bent knee calf raise, one side at a time. This is a deeper version of the second movement, and it matters because the angle of the knee changes which muscles are doing more of the work. Stand behind a sturdy chair or at a counter. Lightly hold on. Shift most of your weight onto one leg. Lift the other foot just a little off the floor behind you, or keep the toes down lightly if you need a little extra stability. Now slightly bend the knee of the standing leg. Not a deep squat, just a soft bend. From there, slowly lift the heel of that standing foot. Pause at the top, then lower it slowly. Do 8 to 12 repetitions on one side, then switch. What's different here is that slight knee bend. That shift asks the deeper, more endurance-oriented muscles of the lower leg to work harder. And those are exactly the muscles that help with the quiet, constant job of keeping you supported through daily life. This is where things get interesting, because most falls do not happen during some dramatic athletic moment. They happen in tiny, ordinary moments. Putting on pants, stepping off a curb, turning in the kitchen, standing on one leg just long enough to lose your rhythm, reaching for something while your weight shifts. That's why I care so much about this exercise. It helps train the body in the kind of stability that real life actually demands. Not showy strength, useful strength, smarter strength. And that's an important distinction after 60. A lot of people think they just need more strength. Sometimes what they really need is better targeted strength. Strength that lasts. Strength that stabilizes. Strength that helps them stay upright and composed in small daily moments. This exercise can do a lot for that. Now, if the single leg version feels too challenging at first, there is no shame in modifying it. Keep both feet down and do a smaller lift with the knees slightly bent, or keep more support from the counter. The goal is not to make it harder than necessary. The goal is to make it appropriate enough that you keep doing it. That is how progress happens. Not with a perfect version done once, with a manageable version done consistently. Now, let's step back and look at what these three exercises are doing together. The seated heel raise wakes up the lower leg system in a safe, controlled way. The standing calf raise teaches that system to work while supporting your body weight. The bent knee calf raise goes deeper and trains the kind of stability and endurance that helps protect balance. That's a powerful progression. And what I like about it is that it respects the reality of aging without treating you like you're fragile. There's a big difference between being wise and being timid. Wise means you use support when needed. Wise means you move with control. Wise means you respect pain and don't push through sharp symptoms. Wise means you build gradually. But timid is when you stop asking the body to do anything useful because you're afraid discomfort means danger. Those are not the same thing. Your body still wants a job, even after 60, even after 70, even after years of being less active than you would have liked. The muscles still listen. The nervous system still adapts. The body still responds to clear signals. That is one of the most hopeful truths in health. You are not done adapting. Now, I also want to be realistic. These exercises are not magic. They are not a one-day fix. They do not replace medical care if you have a serious vascular condition, a recent clot, severe pain, recent surgery, or major balance problems. If any of those apply to you, talk with your doctor or physical therapist before jumping in. But for many older adults, this is a smart and safe place to begin rebuilding something important. And that something is not just strength, it's trust. Trust in your legs, trust in your feet, trust in your balance, trust in your ability to rise, stand, move, and steady yourself. That trust changes how people live. When people stop trusting their body, they move differently. They become hesitant. Their world gets smaller. They avoid stairs, curbs, trips, long outings, standing too long, or unfamiliar places. But when the body starts feeling more responsive again, confidence begins to return. And confidence is not a small thing. Confidence helps you move more. Moving more helps you stay stronger. Staying stronger helps you stay independent. That is the cycle we want. So here is what I want you to do. Start with the first exercise today. Sit tall and do 10 seated heel raises, nice and slow. Then tomorrow, add the standing version. And when you're ready, bring in the bent knee version with support. Keep it simple. Keep it consistent. Keep it honest. You do not need to chase exhaustion. You do not need to turn this into a workout marathon. You do not need to prove anything. You are simply reminding your body of what it was designed to do. Support you, steady you, move blood, hold posture, keep you grounded. That is not a small thing. And let me leave you with this. A lot of adults over 60 think they are losing power. Sometimes they are not losing power as much as they are losing connection. Connection to the muscles that hold them up. Connection to the lower body that helps them feel safe and alive in motion. Connection to the quiet systems that do the hardest work without getting any credit. These three movements help restore that connection. So if your legs have been feeling heavy, if your balance has felt less certain, if walking no longer seems to be enough, Don't just assume decline is the only explanation. Your body may simply be waiting for a better signal. Give it that signal. Lift your heels in the chair. Rise onto your toes while standing. Bend the knee and train the deeper support system. Then do it again tomorrow, and again a few days later. That is how small movements become meaningful change. You are not too old to feel steadier. You are not too old to improve circulation. You are not too old to rebuild useful strength from the ground up. Sometimes the comeback starts in the most overlooked place of all, right there in the lower legs, where strength gets quiet but never stops mattering.